Okay, we are live. When I say we live for real live. You know, hey, it's your girl, Morticia Sherman, that unapologetic therapist, psychotherapist. I don't say life coach, but if your life needs some coaching, I can do that as well, unapologetically. I don't sugarcoat because I don't like the spiritual diabetes that people out here getting. Yeah, there are some good and bad therapists, and also with mental health out here. Life coaches, I respect you to the utmost. I do, but I need you to understand the difference between us and you. Please understand the difference. We know that you have a passion to be out here guiding people, giving them guidance and whatnot. But as I've spoken before, and I told an individual before, when that client goes into a rabbit hole, will you be able to pull them out of it and not keep them there to where they have to seek outside services, which they should be in the first place. They should be seeking outside services, and then, and then, like I say, then they can come. I mean, you got 20 years, granted, I respect your craft, but we're just asking you to respect ours as well because, we go to school for this stuff. We pay a pretty penny for this information, and we got to take a test, and we got to get insured. There's a lot that come with being a therapist, and all we're asking you to do is, we all have lanes, and we just ask you to just stay in yours, unapologetically stay in yours.
Unapologetically.
Like I said, I don't like being controversial, but I have a product that comes out. It's a t-shirt that says, if you come for me, I will arrive. That's all I got to say.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. My
yeah,
bags, the bags are packed.
yeah, I will arrive
Bags are packed. I'm
every
ready to
time.
go.
Hey, I'm out here. I mean, I'm actually creating a marketplace with Amazon where you can find t-shirts that, we come up with, unconditional love is a choice. There's another one that we have, I'm neither moved nor slighted. There's another one I just came out, two more I just came out with, actually three, for the therapists who are out here unapologetically therapizing individuals. The new UTI is what we call it. If you're out here unapologetically, I get tongue tied even saying it. I just call it the new UTI. If you're out here unapologetically therapizing individuals, the new UTI, yes, we are the dosage for mental health. Grab your shirt. Then also, there's another one I have, and it goes with the one that I did. If you come for me, I will arrive. I got one that says, "Tell them I'm here." Just tell them I'm right here. Just come on, just bring it. So tonight I have my girl with me. Man, let me tell you how I met this young lady. We were introduced by a mutual friend, and we clicked so well. I came out, did a mental health conference with her. She put it on for fine arts, and I love fine arts. She found that out about me. I sing. Don't tell nobody that I do that. Just just that's a hidden gift that I have. But I do it in my time when I'm feeling sad, and when I have my own mental health issues. Singing brings me out of that. But my girl, you know, Amber, man, how long have you been in the mental health? How long have you been in the fine arts, not mental health? Because we talked about that. You going to school to get your, you got your your class of psychology,
Yeah.
but
I
tell me
took
how.
a bunch of classes, girl. That was the whole what was it, major?
Oh,
That was the
undergrad.
whole major. That's what I was studying. I was gonna be a psychiatrist. You couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna be until
So you went from psychiatrist, then you wanted to be a nurse, then you didn't want to be the nurse, but
no,
you had.
I wanted to be a doctor of psychology. Like
Okay.
an actual 4 year 8 year technically. It was
Uh,
med school physician of therapy because I have definitely, when some of us have a lineage and a family history of we kind of see the importance of such, and we want to do our due diligence part and all that, and then life be life. Life
Mm,
be
yeah.
life. Well, I went from going to school to be a psychiatrist to not going to school, and now I'm a hairstylist. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, like life had life, and then I was like, okay, well, because my family used to always ask me, why don't you just get your license? I'm like, for what? I'm gonna be a doctor. What I'm gonna do hair for? Now look at me.
Yeah. Doing hair.
Yep. So technically, I'm a therapist.
Oh,
I'm
yeah. Therapist doing hair. So
I'm
you
really
should have. So you should have been on last week when I had Miss Sam from Lock the Beauty, because you do locks too.
I do.
I've seen you do locks as well. But in that, Sam was talking about the fact that you got to go back and watch that. She's a veteran. She
Okay.
also does hair. She's a business owner. And we were talking about, how life be lifing when it comes to hair, being an entrepreneur, making sure your mental health is healthy. And what we call that segment was behind the chair, because she sits behind the chair and I'm on the couch. So we have those conversations, and you do that too, even when you're doing hair, as well as like this past weekend when you did your showcase. This is your 6th year of doing this showcase. I am so proud of you, because I came in on your 5th year, and you pulled me out on the stage. So tell us about Skies and Stars. Tell us about that. How did that transform? How did that even come about?
Well, Skies and Stars came from. How can I tell a long story in the shortest way possible?
Only
Uh,
like you can.
yeah. Let me get
only
comfortable.
like only like you can.
Uh, no, it all started out. So when I was in school, I'm from a small town in Arkansas called Palm Bluff. Uh, and when I was in school, we used to have an annual showcase. I forgot what it was called, Jabberwock or something like that.
Mhm.
But it was we had dance groups, we had singers, right? We had a little bit of everything in it. And they eventually stopped. One of the main reasons they stopped doing it there was because people like to fight outside in the parking lot. you know,
Hmm.
small towns, small
Mhm.
towns. You got to
Mhm.
make your own excitement. So like about 5 years ago, I was like, as much stuff that goes on in Houston, they never have I've yet to see a talent show for like all 8. I've yet to see any talent show really, even at school. And I was a substitute teacher for like a few years, and they didn't have them at the school either. So I was like, I'm gonna do a talent show, and in the process, I was meeting so many people who would say that, oh, I love to sing, I love to do this, I love to do that, but I can't. And I'm like, well, what's stopping you?
Mhm.
And they would say, like, oh, I got this, or oh, I got that, or oh, I'm scared, or oh, my family, or my job, and I don't know if I can. And I noticed there was a commonality between like wanting to perform and different issues, whether it be interpersonal, mental, financial, all these things. Because some of the stuff you don't think links. It's like what you going to sing for 2 minutes got to do with your bank being negative 2 weeks ago. Like, what did you got? So
Right.
I noticed that there was a connection because there's a mental block.
Mhm.
But some of these people I would ask are always at karaoke, always out dancing. You're always doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so why do you do it? And they kind of started talking about different reasons why they do it. And in the process, I was also starting to write a movie. Um, I haven't gotten it copyright yet, so I'm gonna not say it
Yeah.
yet.
Don't see it.
So then I was like, And then when these conversations would happen, I noticed that I was just kind of using all of my chapter 3 from my psychology class in my first year. And I was like, okay, well, let me bridge these creative arts and this mental health because it's an outlet. And that's when I was like, okay, well, I was going by Ember Skies. And I was like, oh, what do you call it? The skies and stars? Skies and stars, because stars are in the sky. I go by skies. So skies and stars. And after that, after having enough conversations and finding out that I can get like venues and stuff cheaper, I got my nonprofit. So
Okay.
it kind of snowballed into a nonprofit.
Okay. Okay. And when you said um talent shows, I remember growing up as a little girl, there were talent shows. There's so many things that have changed over the years that people don't think really matters.
Right.
And back then when we were kids, we had those talent shows, we had those events that were easy for us to do that kept us out of trouble. So
Mhm.
now, when you're taking away a lot of these things from the culture, you're taking a lot of these things away from kids nowadays. Because what? They don't even go outside and play
They
anymore.
don't go outside. They don't
Yeah,
talk to each other. They don't know how
no.
to write a note or a
Ex-
letter, let alone. It's a
Exactly.
lot. It's a lot that's lacking, and I just want to do my part.
Exactly. So with that, when we talk about fine arts, and this past weekend we did talk about some individuals who had that fear of coming to be on the show. Actually, we met a couple during the audition when we came out and did the sign up for it. But then you had those brave souls that were out there that were doing what they do, doing what they love, not out of fear, but they was just excited just to be on the stage, to be able to perform in front of people. And it was like they were in a whole different element when they got up there on the stage. So when it comes to somebody who has that fear, and they contact you and say, hey, I do want to sing, or I do want to do a spoken word, I do want to do these things, what would be your form of encouragement to them?
Talking them through it, like primarily talking into like, because a lot of times they don't. I had to talk a couple of people off some ledges that
Hmm.
even that day. I'm going to use that as an example. Like one person called saying, "Hey, I can't perform because I'm having mental health," and so I called and I said, "What does that mean? Like, tell me what that means." Because sometimes you're like, "Oh yeah, mental health," and they accept it. I don't just accept it because as somebody who has varying things going on with my own personal mental health, tell me
Hmm.
what that means. Like,
Hmm.
tell me what that means for you.
Hmm.
And this person was saying that they had between regular anxiety and the social anxiety and the type of performance that they had, it was just a lot, and then they just didn't think they could go through it. And so I'm like, okay, well, do you think you could just show up and just kind of just be there and just kind of take it in and understand, because that's what it's for. It's not for who's the best and the brightest. It's not who can sing the highest note. It's
Hmm.
about showing how people can use these creative outlets and the doors that these creative outlets can open for you. um so for this person, I just asked them if they would just kind of just come and get out the house. Because sometimes when you inside, you inside the house, you get stuck in your head and stuff spiral, and
Yeah.
you reach out to different outlets that may not be the most healthy,
Hmm.
whether it be a healthy way of thinking or acting or consumption. So I try to talk and I listen, and that
Hmm.
person's like, thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much for listening to me. It's not often that I people listen to me. So
Hmm.
yeah. And also, like, another person that had anxiety came all the way across town and went
Hmm.
right in the building, and cold sweats, tears, just fear.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can do as a non-licensed professional.
Like you did, like you did Saturday, Miss Martisha. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You get a licensed professional, because really,
Mhm.
in all actuality, I can be a really good sounding board. I can
Yeah.
offer you some really good advice. I can't make you take it. I
Mm-mm.
can't make you. I can just offer you a better option,
Hmm.
whether you take it or not. Because we still got to ultimately, your mental health is your personal responsibility. You just got to look for the resources to help you.
Hmm.
Because you leading the horse to water. We are both water.
Hmm.
We can't make nobody drink us.
No, not at all. Not at all. And what I found out, even being at the showcase, um, when you announced me, what you did last year, and I had so many people like, I need to talk to you, I need to talk to you, I need to talk to you. But it's in that moment that I'm like, I'm right here. Talk to me now. And they're like, okay, give me your information. I'll call you. So that lets me know that you're really not there yet. You know, you're really not ready to talk about what it is that's bothering you. I mean, even last year, I had some people that were at your showcase last year who are screenplay writers and, you know, artists. And they were like, hey, I need to talk to you about this. And now that I'm a part of the board, yay, the mental health side, you know, of Skies and Stars, I count it as an honor because when we together as a team and you're putting on an event and you're putting on a showcase and you're putting on a movie and you're doing a play and you're doing all these things, I'm there as a counterpart to be able to help, you know, take some of that pressure and that stress off, you know, of individuals that may be going through that at the time. um but that's what I love about our connection, and the fact that, you know, even last year when I was there and I was talking to individuals at the mental health event, um, and you saw the need, you saw that they wanted to talk, you saw that they wanted to know about, you know, grief and
Grief.
depression.
Yeah.
Grief is my baby. Grief
'Cause
is
grief
my,
is that trigger. Grief
yeah,
is the biggest trigger, in my opinion. I think grief
yeah.
is the biggest trigger. That's gonna be the
And that's because a lot of people take grief as, oh, I lost a loved one. No, grief can come in many different facets. So you have grief because you didn't move to another location. You got grief because you lost a relationship, maybe mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage. All this stuff ties into grief. And if we don't process it correctly, then it spills over to other things that we're doing. It spills over to, you know, our employment. It spills over to our life. It spills over to all those other things. But if we don't know how to process it correctly, then we're stuck. We're
right.
just, you know, oblivious to everything else that's going on because we're thinking, oh, you know, grief is just because I lost my mom, my dad, my cousin, my dog, my aunt, you know, my cat, my hamster.
And try
No.
to explain it away or ration. I'm bad at that.
Hmm.
I try to rationalize my way into a healthy mindset and
Yeah.
don't work.
Yeah. We've been there.
Because I'm so smart. I know better. Okay, well, I know you're sad. This is what's going on with you. You're
Mhm.
processing that. Okay, now I know this, so why do I still feel this way?
Right.
Because you still got to go through it. You still got to feel it.
And there's 5 stages. They just added 2 more stages to grief. There are 5 stages, and we know as therapists, not everybody reach all 5 of those stages. You know, the last one most people don't even get to, and that's acceptance.
Acceptance.
Acceptance, there, knowing that that person that you love, that dearly beloved one, is in a better place. What they say is in a better place, or I call it just internal sleep. You know, they're
They
resting.
recycle.
Yeah, they're resting. You know, I they're just getting their rest. You'll see them again, being that you do what you need to do and how you need to do it.
Right.
So, um, okay, we got a comment on here. As a 52-year-old Black man, is it difficult to lose friends or family members on a daily basis? That is true. It is difficult, you know, because again, let society tell you most Black men don't know how to process anything. You know, y'all are meant to just suck it up, you know, and be the strong one. You know, you're supposed to be the provider, protector, and that you're not supposed to experience what it feels like to lose someone. And if you're losing a person on a daily basis, you know, that is a lot. You know, when you wake up every morning and you're seeing someone that you care about is no longer here, how do you process that? You know,
Right.
what is the best way for you to process that? And that takes time because that person was a part of your life. You don't know, you know, we don't know how long that person was a part of your life. May have been 5 years, 10 years. That was that was something impactful or something that was ignited in you that that person did in your life. So no, it's not going to always be easy. You know, it's difficult, and a lot of people don't understand the word difficult. A lot of people don't know how to address the word difficult, and yeah, it is really stressful. Uh, True. Yeah, when you're dealing with physical issues yourself. The main thing is that you take care of your mental health, because in taking care of your mental health, that's what matters the most, because you can't be any good for anybody if you're not good enough for yourself. If
I
you're
said
not
that.
taking care of yourself, you're not good enough for anybody else. So when you're able to handle and put things in perspective for your own mental health, then you can be the best you can be for whomever you need to be there for. A lot of people say easier said than done. I say it easier done than said. You
Yeah.
know, you got to put the best foot forward. I don't even like that. I don't even like cliches. I'm a cliche breaker. Um, but just in the stress, it is really stressful. That it is, especially if you're dealing with physical issues. Because let's go back to us as individuals. When we're dealing with stuff stressfully, it takes a toll on us on the inside.
And fits you.
Yeah, it's more internal, especially if you're not processing it correctly. It can be a great internal issue because then you end up having high blood pressure, diabetes,
Gray hair.
hypertension. All these things tend to happen to you physically because you have not processed what it is that's bothering you correctly.
Right.
Simple.
I know, cause I sent you guys a message like after, like the day after the show,
I remember that.
and I tend to kind of beat myself up because I'm a perfectionist, and I know how unhealthily healthy they can be.
Hmm.
Uh, but even with, like, this was the first show that I've had like help.
Hmm.
When I say help, I mean like actual help. Not that I don't have help, but I mean like showed up on time to help. I could actually not. I didn't have to do every single job myself. Type of help.
Hmm.
I Jazz was amazing at stage manager.
I mean, she stepped in. She stepped in.
And then they gave us those little headsets, and then everybody was communicating with it. I was like,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
like I, my last show that I did was in January. I would have done so many things since January, but my last show that I did was in January. And I can tell you that I was looking forward to doing another one, including the annual Skies and Stars showcase. Because, and you and I spoke about this, help. I didn't feel like I could trust or help or depend on anyone. And I'm very grateful that I was able to put my pride aside, put my big girl clothes on, whether it be shoes, drawers, shirts, pants, the uniform really, and just take on the task. It was not the same type of turnout that I was
Hmm.
expecting.
Hmm.
However, it was very good. Like I'm not mad at it. Like any other time I'd be kicking myself and I could have did this, I could have did this. Knowing that I had to come from under a Great Depression, 2 car wrecks, financial strain. Girl, I'm so
You patting yourself on the back. You patting yourself on the back. I
girl.
would, if I was there, I would have. Uh, I would have.
Yes, because not only as a board member, not only as a friend, but as a therapist, you know how the dichotomy of hi, it's Ember, and then because Brittany be going through
Yeah,
it. Brittany
yeah,
be going through
yeah.
it.
'Cause I had a moment to meet Brittany, and I was like, okay, I gotta pull her back in. I gotta pull Brittany back in. I gotta pull her
That's
back
the difference
in.
between a therapist and a life coach, though.
Right, right. I can't let you go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that,
And a lot of times, what really, if I could say this, breaks my heart, is when individuals choose not to reach out to a therapist and they rather process stuff on their own. When a lot of times what we do is called talk therapy. And in talk therapy, we're allowing you to tell us the story, how you see it, because we're not going to see it their way, and the next person is not going to see it their way either. You can tell family members all your issues up front, but they're not going to understand what it is that you're actually expressing. And that's what we were taught to do, allow you to talk it out. And the session becomes all about you. It's not about nobody else. It's all about you. And you talk through that. And a lot of times when people are talking through it, okay, Amber must have lost Amber. She'll come back. Um, you back with me?
Yeah, I don't know what
Why,
happened.
why are you going to escape? This is not an escape room.
I didn't do it on purpose.
Okay. So
I don't know what happened. I was trying to take, it was a little box and I was trying to take off, and I guess I was the box. So,
yeah. So what I was saying was, a lot of times we choose not to seek outside help because we
and,
feel like we don't want nobody to know our business. We don't want nobody, but understand, as a therapist, again, it's called talk therapy.
mhm,
And we're here to help you understand what it is that you're processing through your head cognitively. And it's the cognitive side that keeps us in boxes. I always say this, people talk about don't put me in a box. No, because my head is not shaped like one. And listen, let me make sure. No, my head is not shaped like a box, right? So don't put me in a box. Please do not put me in a box in no shape, form, or fashion, because I want you to get the best healing that you can get. Because again, your story is not my story, but your
right,
story is the best story of how you tell it.
right. Especially if I can piggyback off of that, as an entertainer, I'm grateful to not be afraid of I like couches so much that I brought mine to the show.
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah,
um,
you did.
but in all, like, in seriousness though, like, I'm I'm not gonna say I'm just proud of, like, oh my god, I have mental issues. No, but I'm not afraid of them. I'm not ashamed of them, and I'm glad that I can be somebody to encourage people to get help, because every time you show up and we say this is Martisha, the unapologetic therapist, everybody be like,
Right. Yeah.
now the follow through, the follow through is the part, because there are some people that I have met that I'm like, I'll sponsor it myself.
Hmm.
We just need you to get it. Because one thing about therapy that I just love so much is once you find somebody who you can tell your business and ain't gonna tell nobody else, hey girl, let me tell you something. And especially when it's unbiased. Because a lot of times people know they need therapy, or they don't know, but they just get on their friend's nerves. You know
Hmm.
how we have that friend? We all got that friend that when they call, you be like, oh,
So that's that right there, and I have to go there. That right there is called trauma and drama dumping. I do not like that. Do not trauma and drama dump on anybody, because again, you don't know what that person is growing through that can cause them at any moment to feel like they don't need to be here. And that's happening all over. People are taking their trauma and their drama and putting it on people and not knowing what their life is like.
right,
They don't know what they're doing at home. I talk to coaches about this too, and I'm like, you're sitting up here and you're going off at this kid and you're doing all this stuff. You don't know what that kid is experiencing at home. You don't know if that kid is on the brink of suicide, but because you won't listen, but because you won't pay attention and just sit down and just pay attention and listen, you can find triggers and be able to tell the parent, if the parent don't already know, that the child is in the midst of committing suicide or doing something to take their life. But let's get back to the fine art part of it. Fine arts, to me, when you're dealing with fine arts, it's so stressful already because you got to learn lines, you got to remember these, you got to do this, you got to do that. How do you take care of yourself mentally when it comes to dealing with fine arts?
Me? Ooh. So I am multifaceted, right? It's not too much creative stuff that I cannot do. That means I have a lot of tools that I can use.
Mm-hmm.
I color, I write. I think the most beneficial tool that I have are the ones that involve writing. So that's my best way of expressing myself. I've been like that since I was could write really. Like I remember when I would get in trouble when I would get in trouble and I would have to my mom used to make me like talk to her and look her in the eyes because I didn't realize how important that was until I became an adult. It was like, "What? This is weird. Why I gotta look you in my eye in the eyes and I'm in trouble?" Now, life lessons, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I've always been better at writing my thoughts out than I have been at talking because I've found that when I talk, people hear whatever they want to hear.
Right.
Because a lot of times, especially depending on who you communicate to, they already have their mind made up on what you finna say.
Mm-hmm.
But if I write it down, or better yet, if I write a song, then it's interpreted differently because if I write a joke, it's interpreted differently, especially the humor. My humor is amazing and terrible at the same time because I can make a joke about anything. It's bad. It's really good, but it's bad. But if I can get you laughing, I know you listening.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one thing about me. I do, especially like here in Houston, you go to some of these comedy rooms, people are talking, people are just not paying attention. But I do notice when I'm on the stage, it's quiet. I have everybody's attention. I may not get
Mm-hmm.
the biggest laugh, but I can hold your attention. And that's powerful to me because that's one of my voices. Like, or should I say, with my voice of creativity, that's one of the languages that I speak. I speak comedy, I speak music, I speak poetry, I speak art. So yeah, that's how it works for my mental health. It's like my outlet. If I
Mm-hmm.
can't talk about it, I can get it out in other ways. Because sometimes it's just emotional. I don't know why I feel some kind of way when I wake up, but I got a bunch of color pencils, some markers, and a coloring book, and I can
Mm-hmm.
just lose myself and just be like,
Mm-hmm.
let
And
me
see,
think.
that's the thing a lot of people don't gather, or should I say, for lack of better words, don't really notice about themselves how creative they can be. Some people use different forms of entertainment as an outlet for them when it comes to their mental health. Um, Coloring is a good thing. We use color therapy, art therapy. Of course, here's a small snippet of what's going on. Of course, at the symposium we are doing, you know, uh, paint my trauma on a canvas.
Uh-huh.
Painting my trauma on a canvas is one of our things that we're doing on the at the event. So it was so funny when we were talking last year. Was it last year we were talking? And I have to say it. When you said that bitter bitch
The
wall,
bitter bitch wall. Yep.
man, I rolled for days. I was like, okay, how can we make that doable for anybody? Because not just every woman has,
I
that bitterness. Huh?
I got an alternative name for it. Instead
Okay.
of bitter bitch wall, it's the bitter brick wall.
Yes. So that allows somebody to just come in and just the whole thing of being able to freely express what is bothering you the most. Being able to write that out on that brick or that foam board that we'll
Right.
have, and to be able to throw it. Someone else was talking about how you can make it like a trajectory. You know, you could put the project up. I think we talked about that, where you're throwing it at it and it looks like it's breaking, but it's really not breaking because it can reform it back and the next person can come through and throw whatever they got to throw at it. Just having that release, because so many times we see when there's an event, somebody takes a plate and they break that plate. Okay, breaking the plate is fine. Breaking tile, breaking this, and you make a mosaic thing of life when you do that. When you could take that and just recreate it and reformat it, you know, about life. Like for my book, I talked about how my life, the things in my life were broken up and it became a mosaic tile, you know, a beautiful masterpiece. Because during that time, I was really struggling mentally. I really didn't trust. I had major trust issues. And I tell people my story about my major trust issues happened because, you know, the whole time when I was married, it was not the best fit for me. It was not the greatest thing for me because there was a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, and I had to process it the best way I could, you know. And I didn't have, at that time, I didn't have therapy. You know, that was not even a suggestion for me because I pretty much had lost everything. I lost a home, um, just everything. And I want to say for the past 4 years, I have really been rebuilding, and learning how to trust again, learning how to really see people and not know that they're not malicious towards me and they're not out to hurt me in any type of capacity.
Mhm.
Um, that people are really just people. You know, people have flaws. And that's why I don't like that statement, hurt people, hurt people. A person can only hurt you if you allow them to.
If you allow it, but that don't mean they don't try.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hurt people gonna try to hurt people.
They will try, but it's up to you to allow them,
Allow it,
to
yeah.
give them that space to hurt you. You
What
know,
about? Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say because that you when you said that, it made me think about uh like in different like domestic relationships. Like often there are parents who try to keep their children in positions of servitude or subservience just so they can have that dominion over people, over
Hmm.
them. And
Hmm.
it's like, what do you do for that? I had somebody tell me a situation they were going through with their parents, and it's like no matter what they did, they couldn't. They First of all, nothing that they do is right. They can never do anything right. They try to get independence. They try to join like clubs in the school. The parents make them get out of the club. They try to get a job. The parent won't let them have a job. It's like anything that would let them have independence, the parent stops it.
Hmm.
But the kid is always in trouble because they're not doing what the parent says do.
Hmm.
So it's like some of these situations, it's like, well, you can't draw that away. You can't
Right.
sing it. You can make a beautiful poem out of it because you know why the cage bird sings, but
Hmm.
it's that type of thing. It's like you say, you got to grow through it, but it's like, what do you do?
Right.
Like, what do you tell somebody who's going through something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And when it comes to those type of conversations,
Hmm.
a lot of people skirt around things because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to be a part, but it's also good to be an outlet, not a board, so somebody can just just throw all their stuff at you.
Yeah.
But just being a part, being somebody that it's good to be a friend to listen. I like listening. I listen to people. And
Hmm.
in that I sometimes I just choose not to say nothing. And they be like, say something. I'm like, you didn't already figured it out. Why do I have to say anything? Well, I just feel no, you've already said what it is. Let's just continue to move forward. Let's just continue. Um, just stay. I don't know. It was man. I had a session today, and some of the stuff in that session kind of jilted me.
Uh-huh.
And it made me look back at something that happened um, years ago. When I say years ago, I mean many, many years ago. And I was like, this sounds so familiar to me. So I had to ask the hard question: why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
What is this for? Who is it really for? And the why you're here was a form of, hey, I need you to really think about what you're saying to me right now. Because what you're saying to me does not equate to your purpose here. So you need to ask yourself, what is my purpose? What is my cause? If it's for fine arts, love on it. Hone in on your craft. If it's for being a EMT, hone in on your craft. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Don't worry about what other people are doing. You need to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that's why God has you here on this earth. Every day when you wake up in the morning, there's a purpose behind it. Not your thoughts. That's just the enemy. That's just the enemy. And when we give him room, what happens?
Yeah, he be rolling around, taking it up,
Don't
looking
he?
for more room.
Don't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he know exactly where to hit you at. So tell us more about Skies and Stars. I want to know.
What
I
you
know
want?
it's a nonprofit organization. I
Yes.
know that it's out here giving people what they've been looking for and what they've been missing.
Uh-huh.
But tell us more about what you do in the community, because you do so much more in the community.
Yes. So the main aspect of Skies and Stars is to offer people a creative and positive outlet for their mental health. Also to, like we spoke about, like just the Skies and Stars showcase, how it gives the platform to people who do these things. So kind of bringing them to it. So like between like workshops, whether it be like an art workshop, dance class, a mental
Mm-hmm.
health awareness workshop,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of give people tools and options. Often, another thing that we do is collaborate with other charities, like Bread of Life. They give back a lot to like in need situation. Like they always give. I just talked to the president the other day, and he was telling me how he worked for like three or four of them, four nonprofits of the give back. They feed the homeless. They kind of help people with clothing, food, shelter, to give back, giveaways. Um, Becoming Kings and Queens. They're like a youth outreach group who offer kids like opportunities to kind of grow and be more. How do you say? I don't want to say responsible adults, but ultimately, it's like kind of showing like mentorship
Mm-hmm.
and things of that nature. So if it's not an event that Skies and Stars comes up with, we also work with other groups and organizations. Uh,
Yeah.
Another thing, and this is more we got to talk about, it's like putting together programming
Mm-hmm.
uh, that we can take to like different schools and able to kind of reach more people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Affordable mental health. Something else we're trying to put together. We got to find some for
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
uh, things of that nature. So if you say, hey, what does Skies and Stars do? Skies and Stars is a nonprofit organization that utilizes media and performance arts for mental health awareness, and we also are trying to increase the betterment of our community.
Okay. Okay. That's a good elevator speech. Pitch. That's what they call it. The good
Yeah, I
three.
think so, the elevator pitch, because Lord knows I'd be wanting to be like, well, if you look at page 6, you will see. It's like I like how my mind works. Because when you
Mhm.
say, what is Skies and Stars, what do they do? Oh, we do everything. Let me tell you. What you got? We can do it.
Right. Yeah, and we
Like,
talked about that too.
yeah.
Yeah, we
So
had a conversation about how when you're out here and you're a nonprofit, even for a company or organization, you still have to be mindful of who you connect with. You still
exactly.
have to be mindful of who you allow to occupy your space. Because you can meet with the wrong person in the wrong company that can challenge your mental health and make you believe that you're crazy about what you're doing. And I don't like to use the word crazy, but you're challenged with the things that you're doing out here in the community.
Yeah,
There are so many big organizations out here, but they can't help everybody.
I
Go
got
ahead.
something.
Go ahead.
One thing that I have noticed about these major corporation nonprofits versus the little guy like us is we make more of an impact. They have a greater name, but we have a greater impact.
Right.
So, for those of you watching, if you have a nonprofit and you feel like, "Oh, I need to do more. I need to get," you make an impact. If you make an impression on one person, that's a stone in the lake and all these ripples. Because I in the past 6 years, we've officially been a nonprofit since 2020. So, and it's going on 25. It's about to be, I
Five
can't do
years.
that right now. Yeah. 5
Mhm.
years. One thing that I've heard so many times is, "Oh, well, you got to partner with these bigger companies. You got to partner with these bigger companies, so you can get it." No, I don't.
Get lost in the sauce.
You get lost in the sauce, and there's nothing wrong with, because Lord knows I go to the United Way events and stuff that they and I. But what is the point? Like, am I trying to get a check? The answer is yes. But if I'm trying to get a check, or am I trying to make a difference? It's really both. But
Right.
I make a bigger difference. Even when Skies and Stars sponsored a writing class a couple months ago. It was called Write On. Uh, Nicole taught a writing class where people who wanted to learn how to write a script came and participated. These people came to the class, and once they started figuring out how to put a storyline together and putting the script together, they weren't ready to leave because it triggered something, and they wanted to keep pouring out. Now, over 4 hours, it's time to go. But now there's going to be another writing class.
Hmm.
So those people who got so much out of that writing class are going to tell more people about the class
Hmm.
versus people showing up at a fair, eating cotton candy, walking around looking at prizes, and then leaving not knowing what the fair was for. So, do I want to host a fair eventually? Yeah. But everybody who comes to that fair is going to know what that fair is for. Just
Right.
like everybody who comes to the Skies and Stars Showcase knows what it's for.
Right. Right. And that's the thing that we have to be able to do, the deliverables of letting individuals know what's going on. Like for the Tonight is the Night Mental Health Symposium, it's for everybody. It's
Mhm.
not just for one individual, it's not for male, female. Yeah, we expect for you to be there, but it's for everybody, veterans, LGBTQ plus, just anybody who wants to know the information about mental health and the impact that it makes on not just the individual with the disorder, but also the individuals who have family members that are taking care of them. They go inside of these clinics and these hospitals knowing what it is that you can say, but of course when they're of age you really don't have a voice
Mhm.
about their care. But what can you do? How can you get the knowledge to understand what schizophrenia is, what schizoaffective is, what depression is, what adjustment disorder is? All these things that we learn as therapists, and we want to empower the people to know this is what it is. This is not a stigma thing. So that's why for why he came, it's all about breaking the barriers, the
Ex-
generational patterns, the eradicating the stigma that has our culture and our community so under the thumb till it's like, I don't know where to go. I don't know who to talk to. Well, there are places you can go and people you can talk to. Just because you call the 988 number doesn't mean that you're crazy. Doesn't mean
Nope.
something's wrong with you. You just
Right.
need to talk to somebody.
I have a friend that worked for 988, and you're right. Sometimes she says she gets a wide range of calls.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
the people who are right there on the cusp. There are the people who just want to call and start cussing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You got to be very strong to have that job.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
a substitute teacher, so I.
Mm.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times, because we don't know how, again, to process whatever we're growing through the correct way, we tend to hold on to that stuff and it causes us to be sick on the inside and leave. Stress is the strongest killer, honestly, for the Black culture.
Yes,
We think that we know how to process stress. We don't, because our bodies are not created for that.
that's why we got high blood pressure. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. That's why we got that belly fat that's causing us to have sugar diabetes.
Mhm.
Because that's called stress. That's a stressful belly. But until we learn how to process our stress correctly, how to you don't always have to go inside of a gym and work out at a gym. You can go for a walk for 30 minutes. Do your 10,000 steps a day that they say 10,000 steps. And also, here's the secret for those who are listening, and I need you to pull in a little closer so I can tell you this. I learned this through a young lady at Methodist. That BMI scale is not meant for us.
It's not.
It is not meant for us. So don't let no doctor tell you a lot of this stuff is not meant for our culture. It's not because we are shaped differently. So when those things were created, they were created back in the times when they were trying to do insurance adjust. These were insurance things. When she told me that, I was like, wait a minute. She said, yeah, that was created back in the time when people were trying to get life insurance. So if you were within a certain range, you could not get it because your BMI was high. So she had me stand on this thing that told how much body fat I had compared to muscle. I had more muscle. I had like 78% muscle and the rest body fat. And I was like, but they told me I was obese. She said, that was not meant for you. It's not. She said, no, you are African Americans. If you look at our culture from way back in the days, we always have had hips. Either you a high top, high bottom, bottom top, upside down, cake,
Yeah,
whichever one you want to make it. But our bodies were not made for the BMI chart.
correct. And also, often what I learned in school, uh, with my extensive medical background and training of one semester, but is that a lot of those studies were done on like Caucasian men.
Yeah, it was
So,
all Caucasian men.
yep, even to this day. So when you do
So,
like medications and blood pressure and all of those things, they're based on that demographic.
so I'm gonna take you a step further. In the mental health industry, it was all Caucasian men. Sigmund Freud, Pearson, all of them, all those people were. It was based off of Caucasian men.
hmm
There was no other race that this stuff was being performed on.
Well, we
Now,
just became human a couple years ago.
yeah,
We
we
was
just
only three
became human
fifths for a
yesterday.
long.
Yeah, we became human yesterday. And I'm gonna say this. I am so biased. I still say that they take our blood to create medication.
They do. They had a with the Henrietta Lynx, is that what
Mhm.
her name was? They make all those drugs out of her.
Oh yeah, for the syphilis and all of that.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
cancer,
that
because she.
too.
So yeah, but that's a girl. I'm already on some watch lists because of my Google history, so we don't we can wait on.
So before we end this live stream, which you can find it on my YouTube channel under why he
Unapologetic
can't
therapist.
right unapologetic therapist and why he can't do it for the letter U. You can find that there. Um, Give us how we can find you and what's next for Skies
Skies
and
and
Stars.
stars. Skies and stars are it. Skies and stars can be found at www.skeyesandstars. That's SKEYEZ, the letter N, STARZ.org.
Okay.
And that is our on everything. You can Google it. We paid the money.
So that's skies and the letter N stars
Skies in stars.
.org.
.org. Because we are a
Okay.
nonprofit.
Okay.
But if there's
Yeah.
and also if there's anybody watching who is curious to know or has something that we can offer you, we are always open to suggestion. So if you have oh, well, I have a school and we have a lot of kids, what can you do for us? We do an analysis, we see what the needs are, you want what kind of program you want to do, and we can go from there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because y'all out here doing the thing. And
Yeah.
I'm happy that I can be a part where I can be of that assistance because again,
And
you know,
most grateful to you because we got some people coming your way from the event.
that stage fright, the word fear is there's so many things that fall up under the word fear. And until you can get fear under control, you can get anxiety under control, you can get all these other ailments under control. Other mental health things. Let me see. People forgot I was on. But you can get a lot of these things under control. And the main thing of it is we have been so set in with fear from ancestry to family, mom, dad telling you can't sing, you can't dance, you can't do this, you can't perform, you can't play, you can't do all these, you can't. I have to hand it to my grandfather, and he always told me the word can't is not even in the dictionary. And I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, cannot, maybe, but can't is not in the dictionary. And I need you to remove that from your vocabulary because you can do all things. And that's why I love that scripture. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, who gives me that strength to keep moving forward. How else can we reach out to you besides the website?
You can reach out to me through the website, through Instagram. My phone number is 713-851-4679.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't call with unnecessariness because you will be blocked.
Got me trying to hit me up.
That's
That's not going to work.
You will be blocked.
Yeah,
it happens quite often.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you can just everything skies and stars. You can Google it. You can DM it on Instagram and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But the easiest, most direct way is going through the website under the contact me. Okay. Contact us.
Well, for those who are listening, you got it here first from Miss Amber Skies. If you think that you have a conversation that you can sit on the couch with the unapologetic therapist, myself, Morticia Sherman, hit me up. You can find me at info at whyhecan.com. You can also reach us at 346-525-4981. Let us know that you want to be on the couch, because we have some serious, realistic topics that we talk about. And we're going to talk about your craft and how do you manage it with your mental health. What are things that you do to help yourself mentally? Are you seeing a therapist? Are you seeing a life coach? Did I just roll my eyes? Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you rolled your eyes. You just searching your brain for the thought.
wasn't I? So if you want to know more information, reach out to us on all social media platforms. You can even find my name, Morticia Sherman. Also, we have some events going on. December 13th through the 15th of December is called Tonight is the Night Symposium, where we're talking about mental health and how it's impacting the community, how we can eradicate and break these stigma barriers of these generational patterns that are going on out here, because we are so behind on getting our mental health in order. Then also in February, which we call Love Month, is February 22nd. Yes. February 22nd, 23rd, we are having For the Love of Basketball and Mental Health Awareness. Now, be on the lookout. We are creating a poll so you can nominate an organization that's out here putting it in, that's doing it unapologetically. We're gonna pull three companies, three organizations that they'll be able to get a donation from the proceeds that we're gathering from both events. Because we know out here being an entrepreneur and you're being an independent entrepreneur, you don't always have the finances and the necessary means to do what you need to do. So hit your girl up. Let us know. Be on the lookout for the poll. It's going to be on. I keep saying poll because every time I think poll, my mental health goes to the wrong place. But anyway, right. I'm sorry.
We almost made it. We did good.
No, we did real good. But there will be a nomination form going out for you to nominate an organization that's really out here in the community doing it unapologetically. This is your girl, Morticia Sherman, the unapologetic therapist, and my girl, Amber Skies. Until next time, we will see you here on the couch with Tish. Have a good night.